Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at War Thunder's 13th anniversary events. There's a bunch of stuff going on over the next few days, and it's really cool. Gaijin always goes kind of all out when it comes to their birthdays, and the 13th one is no different. So just to give you a heads up on what's kind of going on, obviously we've already talked about these sales which are happening, and the Gaijin.net store. We'll do another video later on looking at some aviation options which are generally good to pick up, but also the MAUS is back. The MAUS has returned once again for the anniversary, and it will be available to research from the 31st of August until the 6th of November. What this basically means is all you have to do is put a point of research into the MAUS, which you need to have rank 5 Germany for, and you will be able to keep it forever. So if you haven't got the MAUS in the past, this is your time to get it. And it just means that you can get it quite easily over this period of time. So if you don't have rank 5 Germany, you now have 7 days to be able to get it in order to get access to the MAUS. They're also doing a 13th anniversary decal, and all you got to do is play one battle with any vehicle at rank 3 or higher, so you could actually do the Flapjack event while grinding this, and that is once again available from the 31st of October until the 6th of November, and then, once again, the Flapjack event, the XF5U-1. The event starts today, so the first mark is today for the next few days. Then obviously we have many others afterwards. I'll be making a video about how to grind it efficiently and also how to have fun, which is the most important part. Remember, with the XF5U though, it isn't a coupon, or you can't get a coupon for it, so you won't be able to buy it off the marketplace. So if you don't have time to grind this thing, you'll have to GE it instead. So just keep that in mind while getting the vehicle. So yeah, there's a bunch of really cool stuff happening for the anniversary event. They also did a bunch of Devblogs and also other news items, which I thought I would have a look at for you too. The first one being that the Deep Strike is going to return again this weekend. So basically, over the weekend from the 31st until the 3rd of November, you can give the Deep Strike mission a go. They actually did change a few things, so they added the Vietnam map as a mission variant. The durability of infrastructure buildings has also been reduced, so they're easier to destroy. So once again, the attackers were probably struggling, and also infrastructure has been made slightly damaged at the start of the mission, making it easier for the attackers to see and destroy it. Where one of the problems that existed the last time for the Deep Strike mode is basically the MiG-21s just won everything. Because you only have one mission, it's easier to actually do, whereas the Phantoms have multiple missions that they have to focus on and do, and it seems like the same thing is happening once again in this setup as well. So give it a go, have a bit of fun with it, and see how it feels, and also make sure to take part in all the other events as well. Let's get into the Devblogs the last little bit, and as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Let's get started. So in terms of Devblogs, there was a bunch of them that came out, and the first one was the Jaguar EBRC. This is obviously a vehicle that many people have been looking forward to, since France's light tanks are some of the funnest in the game, and the Jaguar on the dev server was, well, to be honest, quite disappointing. They have updated it, and it is definitely better than it was previously, but I still think it's going to have pretty big issues at SBR, just like a lot of these kind of light tanks do, since, you know, they don't really have a ton of survivability, and Gaijin really overvalues the fire and forget missiles on a lot of these vehicles. The Acheron coming in, though, is generally quite fun to see, and with a tandem warhead, maybe it'll be different. I doubt it, though. The Jaguar EBRC was developed as part of a large-scale modernization program for the French army. A consortium comprising of Nexter, Tails, and Renault Truck Defense began developing the vehicle in 2014 to replace the aging AMX-10 RC, ERC Sagae, and VAB Hot. Key features include a hybrid engine, a 40mm CTC cannon, and a modern SICS networking system. The first 20 vehicles in the first batch were delivered in December of 2021, and by the end of 2023, the Army had received 60 vehicles. Plans call for increasing the batch to 300 armored vehicles by 2035 with the Jaguar already demonstrating its capabilities in exercises and preparing for export deliveries, particularly to Belgium. So maybe we'll get another version of it for Belgium. The vehicle has a 40mm cannon, and generally it works pretty well. It has APF-SDS, and it also has a pretty fun head round, which has a little bit more penetration than others. The also missile seems pretty fun. The only issue is the launcher itself is angled very highly, which means that anything that is close to you, you won't be able to hit with it, and that kind of sucks. But generally, the vehicle looks okay. It's just the fact that right now on the dev server, it's gone through so many changes, it's hard to actually work out what it's going to be like. The next vehicle is the Fokker D.XXIII. This one recently got an updated cockpit on the dev server and it looks really nice. This is a Dutch prototype that is coming into France at rank 2 and generally should be pretty fun. The design process for the Fokker D.XXIII began in late 1937 under the name of Design 155, with the project being directed by engineer Marius Beeling. The design was completed in December, and almost 1 year later, in November 1938, a mock-up was displayed at the Paris Air Show. On the 30th of May of the following year, the Fokker D.XXIII made its first flight from Schiphol Airport, with test pilot Gerben Sonderman at the controls. The aircraft was powered by a pair of Czech Walter Sagita 1SR engines, which is where the key issue of the D.XXIII was identified, the cooling. The rear engine had a seemingly unfixable cooling problem, which made it impossible to run at full throttle without consequences, hampering the ability of the test pilot to perform maneuvers. To add to the issue, as Germany had just invaded Czechoslovakia, support for the Walter Sagita engine entirely ceased. The prototype was captured by German forces after their invasion of the Netherlands. It was then shipped to Germany, where it was examined and tested. On the 10th of May 1941, the prototype was scrapped, the engines were sent back to Czechoslovakia, and the landing gear and cockpit elements were kept in storage. The final mention of the aircraft was in Fokker's bookkeeping in 1942, where the prototype was listed at the symbolic value of 1 Dutch guilder, acknowledging that it once existed, but ended in a total loss. This vehicle should be pretty fun. It's a standard push-pull aircraft with a unique design, and also has access to a nice armament, along with a few other nice features. I'm looking forward to this one. It should be quite good. Another devblog they've done is for the model updates for the Tiger II and the Tiger II SLA-16. This is basically the two Tiger IIHs, one the premium one with the better engine, and then the standard one which is in the tech tree. I was actually playing the Tiger IIs yesterday. God damn, they're slow nowadays with the engine nerf that they got. They're very much harder to play. But basically, the Tiger II, which was manufactured by Henschel, and has access to an updated model, which looks really, really nice. And now we get to experience it in War Thunder. The Tiger II is one of the oldest models when it comes to War Thunder, since it's been in the game for basically over a decade, and I'm sure, Gaijin consistently updates stuff to make it look nice. When it comes to the update of stuff like this, technically this doesn't really make Gaijin any money because of the fact that they're updating something that they've already done. So whenever they do these types of things, it always, at least to me, is a sign that, they actually care about the game, right? Where a lot of people kind of turn around and say they don't care or they only develop stuff for money. Well, when you think about the Tiger IIP, the T-3485, and also the Tiger IIH, they've all updated these models. They didn't have to. They could have kept them how they were, and people would have still been happy. But the amount of effort that goes into this update and, making them look really nice, you basically have to redo a full vehicle at the end of the day. And it just looks absolutely stunning. It's one of the things that kind of shows the devs really do care about this stuff. And it does at least make me happy to see these updated models. They also did a devblog on the XF5U-1, which is wonderful to see. This vehicle is obviously the dreams come true vehicle. The event starts today, and it's going to be an American fighter at rank 4. This vehicle, I think, is just one of the more unique vehicles that we have in War Thunder, and it also has an interesting story. The concept of the flying pancake design was proposed by American Charles Zimmerman in 1933. It represented a radical departure from traditional aircraft design. Zimmerman wanted to create an aircraft with as much lift as possible, and so the proposed design incorporated a fuselage that would also serve a single circular wing. After impressing the US Navy with a radio-controlled model, he received funding to create a prototype, which would receive the designation V173. The lightweight wooden aircraft, with a maximum speed of 220 km an hour, successfully completed multiple years of testing and resulted in a wealth of experience, which ultimately led to the creation of a fully fledged prototype designated the XF5U-1, featuring an all-metal fuselage and two Pratt & Whitney R2000 engines. By the time the prototype was completed in 1947, however, it was facing insurmountable complications. Ground tests revealed worrying control instability at low speeds, and against the backdrop of the success of jet aviation, the US Navy closed the project in March 1947. This vehicle is another one which technically shouldn't be in War Thunder. It never took off, it never flew, it also was never armed. But when it comes to War Thunder, as I've said many times, there aren't actually really any rules about what Gaijin can and can't add. They just kind of make it up to whatever suits them, whatever they think would be fun, and also what would be balanced. So this vehicle will be able to take off. It also will have access to 650 cals and also 500 or 1,000 pound bombs, which it never actually used. So it's just one of those weird vehicles that people are going to use for justifications of adding in a bunch of other stuff, which, you know, would basically be on its level of not really ever being fully tested. And the thing is, people wouldn't be wrong, because that's exactly what this thing is. So that's all the Devblogs and all of the news for the anniversary event. Make sure to get your stuff, and as always, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.